Hey everyone, Mr. Devil here, Kenny Danico, 3-time Stanley Cup champion of the New Jersey Devils, and you're listening to the Uncle Puckers New Jersey Devils podcast. Let's go Devils!
Can you guys hear me okay?
Yeah.
Yes.
Okay.
Yeah.
All right. Just checking because my thing got a little wonky a little bit. But yeah, so welcome everybody. Whoever, thank you for joining on the live stream. We are the Uncle Puckers, Tim, Bob, and Chris. Lots to kind of talk about right now. This is a fun time to discuss the Devils because they're actually looking like a halfway decent hockey team. But before we start, how's everybody doing? I mean, other than the shitty news that Bobby just got and the fact that, you know, our hearts hurt for him. Other than that,
Other
how
than
are
that, you have to be high, right?
Yeah.
I got the staples out of my head today. So
Yeah, we can see your hair again. That's
I know.
nice.
Look at you.
Chris and I
Yeah,
don't
I
have
know.
hair, so it's always nice to see people with hair.
I was able to shampoo and condition fully. It was a very wonderful experience. Just have
Yes.
water, just having like shower water flow over your head. You don't realize what you've had until it's gone.
So that's like a Cinderella song right there.
Yeah. Don't know what you've had till it's gone.
How bad were to get the staples out? Was it painful?
No, not at all. Not at all.
No?
Just,
It wasn't
just
as
kinda-
bad?
No, not as bad.
I thought it would be equally as bad from a
I
pain.
asked the question and recycled my joke about the doctor shaming me into not using Novocaine. And another very attractive,
act like a man.
yeah, basically, I'm a man. Another pretty hot doctor too, by the way. I don't know what.
Yeah,
it
what
is
was his
down here.
name?
Yeah, what was the name?
God damn it, man!
You
Right
fucking
on
two
me.
just share a brain.
Yeah, basically, we've been told that before.
Yeah.
So this is interesting, Tim, that you just sent this, and I didn't read it yet, other than the first paragraph.
It's pretty fucked up. Like,
Oh,
look,
yeah.
it's from some random Reddit post, but I don't know. It kind of sounds authentic. I have a pretty good bullshit detector, and that kind of sounds like something that.
Well, I heard on one of the XM shows, I think it was Steve Coolius, was talking about the Rangers. He mentioned Miller, and then he talked about Pettersson. He goes, and we know there was bullying going on. We don't know the extent of it. And he just got off the subject. I was like, I didn't hear anything like that. So is that apparently it, that Miller's just an ignorant douche? Is this closed-minded ass? Is this what we're getting to?
Sounds like it, Again, I don't want to spread rumors or anything, but it kind of tracks with it. Kind of
rumors, Tim. It's reckless speculation.
Reckless speculation, yes. It sounds like pretty plausible story that that he just bullied the shit out of Pettersson, called him a faggot in a public setting, and a lot of the team got pissed at him, and they had to go take sensitivity training, which then was his leave of absence. So it all kind of lines up with that story. And then after the fact, basically Quinn and a couple guys were like, you need to get this fuck out of here. And Aquilina, whatever his name is, the owner, basically trying to get rid of him since then. So, I mean, it's good to see the organization kind of stand up for Pettersson that way.
Yeah.
But, the Rangers get another piece of shit.
Yeah, I mean, it says here what happened was after the game where Miller was benched, Miller crashed out and started tearing up Petey, yelling at him and calling him a faggot. And we're only saying that to read this verbatim.
Yes.
6 or 7 times, bashing into him for being a weak-minded baby. Quinn, Jake, and others stepped in and told Miller to shut the fuck up. Quinn was extremely pissed at JT for this and told the management what happened. Management and Aquilini had a meeting with JT and pretty much told him he was suspended and needed to take sensitivity training. That's intense. I mean, I get it. Hockey is filled with a bunch of, especially Eastern Europeans. They frown upon homosexuality in every way. In some of their countries, it's actually illegal. And then you add this, talking about the JT Miller one, Mike, to Petey. So, but why is hockey so fucking still in the dark ages when it comes to any kind of social progress? Like I especially this. Like if EP40 is gay, who gives a shit? Like seriously, does that bother you that much, JT Miller, that you can't be on the same team with somebody that, loves another guy or whatever? I mean, it's ridiculous. I'm tired of it. I'm sick and tired of these players not wanting to play on days that are gay pride nights and all this other shit. Get a fucking
yeah, but
stop being
and it's
such
the same
douchebags.
crowd bitching and moaning about pride nights that are then at the Devils game against Edmonton booing the Canadian anthem.
Right.
The Venn diagram of those people is a circle, and it's just it's fucking unbelievable. It's like let's grow up and move on. It's 2025. Like just be an adult. It's just this childish machismo that permeates every kind of major sport that is predicated on violence. And hockey is predicated on violence, but you don't need to carry that into kind of your social sphere. It's just stupid. It's just fucking stupid. Just stop it. Stop.
I would love to actually have Mike on one day to tell the story. You live in Vancouver, Mike, and he's right in here. It was bad up here. Miller's a shitbag. Miller hated the fans. He would be out with his family and get ripped apart. I would love to hear stories about that. I would love to have been a fly on the wall to watch JT Miller get fucking ripped apart. And he gets traded to one of the most progressive cities, if not the most progressive city in the country, where this kind of shit just doesn't fly. I mean, it's bullshit. It's not like you're playing in fucking Nashville or wherever where the people, I'm not saying the team, but I'm saying the people might be a little bit more, conservative, I guess is the right way to put it in their thinking. But like, I don't know, man. I'm just glad that none of that shit is going on with the Devils. Yeah.
And yes. And there's something to be said for the culture that comes from Fitz, about building a family and a good progressive culture. And he's embraced that philosophy up and down the lineup. So
he's done a good job with that. Yes. I agree with you. I
was just laughing at Mike's comment about Canucks Twitter. Every Twitter group has its share of interesting personalities.
Yeah, I mean now that I saw like this whole big thing about how the Devils need to trade Jack Hughes because we apparently we won 3 games, so apparently it's all Jack's fault that And look, I think there is something, not to trading Jack Hughes or anything like that. I'm not saying that, but there is something to be said with how this team's playing now as opposed to when it's playing when Jack Hughes is on the team. It's very simple. You don't have the guy on the ice anymore that you feed the puck to 24/7 every single time. It's get the puck to Jack.
Right
now, guys are playing a lot more, I think, freer, worrying about themselves a little bit more
within themselves.
And it is turning out to be, in at least the last 3 games, my confidence is with this team is still a little bit shaky. I mean, we won. Let me see real quick. So last time they won 3 in a row were 77 days ago.
Yeah, it was the Biden administration.
2 months. It was the Biden administration. on December 21st of last year, they beat Pittsburgh. They beat Pittsburgh 3-0. And man, can we just go back to the Biden administration? And then they beat the Rangers on the 23rd 5-0, and then they beat the Canes 4-2 on the 27th. That's the last time that this team won 3 in a row. So I'm not 100% bought in yet. But with that being said,
I have 2 thoughts on the Jack thing, just to
go ahead,
bring it back, and one kind of comes from the other. So, and it was actually interesting. This guy Tyler Blazinski posted this clip of Knobloch's press conference after the Devils game, and it's kind of an interesting insight into. Well, the Oilers have a similar problem with McDavid and Draisaitl, right? Like the players that play on those lines, and this is why he sometimes stacks the lines. Sometimes you think it's to put McDavid and Draisaitl together, which it is, but it's also to have the guys that were playing with them be able to play within their own game. and be able to have their own kind of puck touches and stuff like that. The kind of what happens after that though is like you want Jack Hughes to have the puck all the time. Would you rather Jack Hughes have the puck all the time or Andre Palat have the puck all
No,
the time?
I mean it's a no-brainer.
Yes. So
Andre
but
Palat.
what happens is, it's kind of there's only one puck theory. So distributing those puck touches that Jack usually gets across the lineup. So Timo gets a little bit more, Bratt gets a little bit more, Nico gets a little bit more. It's Tim learns the word aggregate again. And it's you distribute those puck touches, but the more you touch the puck, the better you feel about it, the more opportunities you're going to get, the better chances you're going to get. So we've gone from one guy being puck dominant that we want to be puck dominant because he's fucking an outrageous player to multiple guys being a little bit more puck dominant, and they're getting their chances. So it's kind of two different things happening at once, but giving guys more opportunities, stepping up in the lineup. It's time for these guys to step up, and guys like Bratt have stepped up.
I'm really glad you brought up the Edmonton angle, because that's what I wanted to bring up in this. This is not the first team that's had to learn how to kind of work with a superstar, and it won't be the last. There is something to that, right? You got to figure out your game plan when you have a guy like Jack with his skill set. And then everything you mentioned now is you got a couple guys that realize they need to step up, play within their game. We're a better team with Jack Hughes, for sure. I don't want to hear this trading shit. I don't want to hear we didn't need him and we won 3 in a row because we don't have him. Like, that's ridiculous. But you do need to learn how to, for everything Tim just said, I'm not going to repeat it, but I mean, you need to learn how to work around the guys that had kind of like that next level above.
Right. And we've talked about it before with Palat. Like at first he was playing within himself with Jack and Bratt, kind of figuring out sort of the little pockets of what he needed to do. But then once you start just doing that and not really contributing anything else, then the rest of your game starts to suffer. So his game's really suffered, and he fucking whiffs on a goddamn empty net opportunity that left my butt cheeks puckered.
Palat gives us Palittle. Anyway,
Hey-o.
there is a way to fix this problem.
Were you workshopping that one all day?
No, it just popped in my head. There is a way to fix this problem. All right, we've all played pinball, right?
Yes,
Multi-ball,
terrible at that too.
Multi-puck. If you do something like kill a penalty, and then all of a sudden the ref just drops 3 more pucks down, and it's a fucking free for all, that would be awesome. That would be awesome. Yeah, I did fucking come to play, man.
Game for that. Let's try that. Try that in ECHL.
So
the multi-puck
at lower levels sometimes, like in warm-ups, pucks will get stuck in the net, and like the ref won't do a good job cleaning them out. So I was playing I remember one specifically, it was a peewee. A second puck just popped out, and like we were playing with one puck and the other team was playing with the other, and we're just, what the fuck's happening? And it went on for maybe 10, 15 seconds where the refs were like, what is happening right now? So
hold on. Okay, wait, before we move on, you said Pee Wee. Now I forgot about a story I had to tell you from the kids' last playoff game, and this is why our sport is so special. It was right after the first intermission. We're a minute into the second, and our team gets a power play, but all of a sudden there's a timeout on the ice. I look over at the other kid's goalie, and he's like tapping his chest or something. I'm like, oh, what's the matter? Did this kid take a puck in the chest? Is he having a hard time breathing? Like, what's going on? He's got his mask off, and then with that, just chunk
throws
all
up
over
everywhere.
the ice, throws up everywhere. Right? I'm looking around. I'm like, they don't have another goalie. I'm like, are they going to forfeit? What's going to happen here? In any other sport today, if a kid pukes, it's like protocol. Get him out, move him on. What do? Get that fucking Zamboni out here, scrape that shit right up. Dude rallies for the 4-0 shutout against my boys. It was an absolute stud. That is diesel shit for a freaking 10-year-old man. He just yaks on the ice, moves over, lets it get Zamboni, and then pitches a shutout. Hockey.
I have a similar story. It's slightly grosser, but nowhere near as tough as this. Okay. So when I was little, like growing up, my mother was a dance instructor. My oldest sister was always in plays and everything. So when I was real little, like 6, 7, 8 years old, my mother every summer would take me and my other sister, and we'd have to be in these other plays, right? Singing stupid songs and fucking whatever, right? I hated it. But because
can you sing a song?
I could sing you lots of Broadway tunes. I can't stand them, but again, it was how growing up, I couldn't say no. So we were doing this like showcase, and I was like 6 years old, and it was at Intermediate East, and they were doing some song. I can't remember what the song was, and there was a horse mentioned in the song, right? I think it was like something from Guys and Dolls. I can't remember though. So one of the people in the play decided, well, I have a horse. I mean, why don't we bring the horse on the stage and we can do, and everybody thought this was a good idea. So the night of the performance, the whole place is packed. And out comes this horse. And now there's probably about 300 people in there. The horse gets scared shitless. The tail goes up, and this horse explodes diarrhea everywhere. There was this guy, and I remember it like fucking yesterday. His name was Jerry Rich, and he was the orchestra guy, and he's there playing the fucking piano, right? And you always hear those songs, right? Where those stories, right? Where like barroom brawls break out and the band keeps playing, you know, and all that. This motherfucker kept playing the piano, got covered in shit. It was like the most disgusting Gallagher show in the history of fucking man. Horse shit everywhere. Needless to say, we did have to stop and clean up. People left because they were getting sick in the front row. I mean, this horse shit everywhere. It was fantastic. I was asking my sisters actually last Christmas. I said, you got to get the video of that. Like somebody somewhere has the video of the horse shitting everywhere. Like you got to load that on something.
It
So
totally does.
it does sound like a Monty Python skit, but it fucking happened.
Oh,
So
that's fucking like that is.
oh god, it was awesome.
Like,
it was awesome.
Man, going to like grade school in the 80s, there's just like there are no fucking rules, man. Like your school is just like, hey, we're gonna bring a horse on stage. And everybody's like, yeah, sure. Fuck it. Why not?
Sure.
Like the rusted out playground equipment I used to play on. You know, you're 20 feet up on that. Did you have one of those cages with like the triangle like bar? You know, like one of and like it was awful. Like
the metal slides.
That
you jump on in the summertime and they'd be at 250 degrees and you burn the shit out of the back of your legs and then get stuck
high
down.
Man.
Skin.
You want no 8-foot slide? You're way up there.
And here's the best thing: like my kids, like I remember having this conversation with them and they couldn't wrap their head around it. I'm like, you don't understand. Like our playground equipment was on asphalt. Like we didn't have these squishy wood chips everywhere and stuff like that. Like if you fell off a fucking slide, like you were breaking something. Like there was no, I mean, every kid had a cast at one point or another from some stupid playground accident. It was great. It was great.
It was the best. Do you guys play Butts Up or like wall ball? Come on, stop, Bob.
Wall ball, sure.
No,
okay, I honestly don't know what Butts Up is.
Basically, you know, there's a wall, tennis ball. You throw a tennis ball against the wall.
Chris, we played wall ball all the time.
And you got to tell Tim where we used to get the balls from, though.
And the person, Jesus Christ, and the person bobbles it. They have to run and touch the wall, and you're allowed
touch the wall, and you wait.
Yeah, we called it Butts Up. And if you hit them, they had to stand at the wall like this, and everybody got a free shot at them. I remember there's a huge scandal about this game in my town. I mean, my town was pretty small. Cranberry is pretty small.
Is that where you grew up, Cranberry?
Yeah. Okay. My parents came home from a PTA meeting that was specifically about Butts Up, and they were like, they sat me down. They were like, my dad was like, "Do you play a game called Butts Up?" I was like, "Yeah, it's fun. You know, get outside, you know, do stuff." Yeah. He's like, "Are you good at it?" I was like, "Yeah, actually, I'm pretty good at it, Dad. Like, I have a good arm, accurate. You see me pitch." He's like, "All right, good." And that was it. That was the end of the PTA.
What was the problem? The parents didn't want the kids playing it?
Yeah, because it was violent.
There was this store across the street from Bobby's house, and on the other side of the highway, it was called McCrory, and it was like a Woolworth type of store, a little 5 and dime.
Yeah.
So we used to go in, and you know the little pink super fucking bouncy balls, so we would pocket that, you know, and walk out, and then go behind the store and play wall ball.
Stole?
Yeah, we stole them. We didn't have any money. Yeah. And then the other thing we used to do. You remember the other big game we used to play back there?
We did Bike Derby. And shopping cart derby.
We used to take the shopping carts and we'd ram them into each other and shit.
We used to do that too. Fucking crazy, man. You can really hurt yourself.
We spent an unusual amount of time behind buildings.
Yeah.
Jerry's Pizza. Well, we would eat pizza and then go sit behind. We found a couch out there.
We found a couch in the garbage. Like how disgusting is that? We would lounge out on this couch and you know, then there was a Cumberland Farms next to us. And they used to every month throw out all their Penthouse and Playboys, and we'd go through the dumpster and grab the Penthouse and Playboys.
Sit on our wet couch.
Sit on our wet couch. and fucking
It was
eat
so close
pizza.
to my dad's house, to like the back of this building. You can almost see the front of my dad's
Mhm.
house where I was living at the time. So one day we went out there with a jar of salt to kind of see what it does to snails.
Yes.
Remember that?
Yes.
My dad yelled at us from across the street, like, "Just shut the fuck up." Whatever we were doing, we were just burning snails.
Yes. That's what you could do back
We
then,
didn't get in
man.
trouble. We didn't get in trouble.
Read what
Right?
DJ just wrote.
Yeah.
That's awesome.
I mean, yeah,
So-
that's. I mean, that. Yeah, our generation, we were fucked up. So
Oh,
anyway,
yeah.
Devils have won 3 in a row. It's pretty good. We
Now, the last time they've won more than 3 in a row was a 5-game winning streak that they put together from January 7th, 2023 to January 16th, 2023. So it's been over 2 years since this team has put together. And that was a 5-game win streak. That was the last time that this team won more than 3 in a row. So tomorrow's big. Pittsburgh's now decided that they want to try and play hockey again. This fucking team, it's like every time with 20 games left, it's like, oh, we better shit now. And they fucking start playing.
Yeah, Crosby just like grabbing them all by the back of the collar, like, like an angry dad at the beach. Like, we're leaving. It's like, we're fucking trying to make it.
So this is going to be interesting tomorrow. Like I said, I'm not quite there yet, but I have to say, the way that they've played these last 3 games, I love it. I absolutely love the way that they've played these last 3 games. And if they can keep it up, I'll be honest, look out. And everybody and their mother from the national stage on down has the Devils dead to rights. I mean, even on XM this morning, it wasn't the Devils' big win against the Oilers. It was what's wrong with Edmonton. It was one of the guys on the morning skate today said, if with Dougie and Jack out, if the Devils make it to the playoffs, I would consider that a win for Sheldon Keefe and the Devils. We've been firmly in a playoff spot since the season started. Firmly. Yeah. And now we have taken from Tuesday, which was 4 points above Columbus, to now 8 points above Columbus and 4 points behind the Canes. I mean, they were winning when last I checked against Detroit.
They won.
Okay, so 6 points behind the Canes, but you can still catch them. That can go quick. And that's where our sights should be. But yeah, I mean, everybody, and that's great. I want everybody to count us out. I want to be just that blip in the radar that nobody sees coming, because this is where I want to start with my first question to you guys. And I'll ask you guys on the chat too. And be honest. So we know Jack, Dougie, they're gone. We don't know whether or not Siegenthaler will be back for the playoffs. Looks like he will be. But Jack and Dougie are the 2 main guys. How far do you think this team can go in the playoffs without those guys as constructed right now? Tim, and then Bob, and then I'll go. How far do you think that they can realistically go?
I think they can make the Eastern Conference Finals. I don't think Carolina is as good as people think they are. They're smaller in their forward core. Their D core is older. Their goaltending is iffy. I honestly think we can give them and I'm not putting on rose-colored glasses here. I really think we could give them a run for their money. Like, they do play the good Brendan Moore solid structural system. Yeah, sure. But the reason we got blown out in the series 2 years ago was because their forward core were just fucking assholes and just pounded the shit out of our defense. And I don't see their forward core really being able to do that anymore. They don't have any major superstars. Like Aho and Svechnikov are kind of their best players. They traded a 6'3", 220-pound beast in Rantanen for a 5'8" Stankoven. So they're getting smaller. They may be quick, but I think we still have the horses. Like, Nico's one of the most valuable. Like, I sent you guys this stat. Hang on, I'll pull it up. Nico's, like, based on expected goals above replacement, Nico, I think, is the 3rd most valuable forward in the league. Behind, so on expected goals above replacement, Nico Hischier, 23.1, is the 3rd most valuable skater in the NHL, behind only Quinn Hughes at 24.8 and Leon Draisaitl at 38.5.
It's impressive
Jack-
company to keep.
Incredible.
Yeah,
company.
Jack was fourth. So losing Jack is still big, but like we were talking about before, they could kind of distribute his ability across the lineup, get scoring from other places. Cody Glass has stepped in and has looked really good, and the early returns on him have been very good. He seems like just like a smart, capable player, 200-foot player that can win faceoffs. He's got decent size. You know, he can throw his body around a little bit. We're going to get Sprong in the lineup, but these guys start getting hot and start feeling themselves. I don't see why we can't. Like everybody says it every year about the playoffs. Just get in,
Right.
and anything can happen. I kind of agree with Mike. Like you look at some of Washington's underlying numbers, and I know they've maintained this pace the whole year, but their underlying numbers are fucking trash. Like, their expected goals for relative to the other teams, their shooting percentages are all through the charts. Like Alexei Protas is shooting like 20 something percent. Like that's just not a sustainable rate. So it's got to come crashing down. It has to. I hope. So it's going to be interesting, but I think we can get by the Canes, and then we've given Washington some good matchups this year. I think we can take Washington too, and I think we get the Eastern Conference Finals where we run into like Florida probably and get just fucking bullied out of the building.
How about you, Bob?
Well, I mean, all honesty, right now, I don't see this team as a Stanley Cup winning team. I am concerned about Carolina. I've been saying that all year. I'm jaded by history with that team. They scare the shit out of me. But I do think that this year, with the defensive core that we have, our structure, our goaltending, everything, that this is the year that we can move past them. I don't think they're as much of a threat as they were in previous years. I'd probably say we're a good second round team. I don't know if we get through the second round, but definitely a round one, and depends on the matchup on the second round.
Okay.
Right now, I mean, there's a lot of hockey. There's almost 25% of the season left. I know it's like 19, 20 games, whatever it is, but it's only 82 games in the season, so it's close to a quarter of the season. We've actually played better than just this 3-game winning streak. We've kind of touched on it before. I mean, you can go back to the win against Utah, 3-1, and then those two losses. What was it? Vegas and Dallas were kind of unique losses in themselves, and how good of a team they were. Winnipeg was the only one where we looked completely out of our league. At that moment, that night, I remember thinking, we're not in the league with contenders, and we had just played like 3 of them. But we were starting to emerge a little bit. And now you look at that win against the Flyers was huge because of the way they play us. The way we came back, we haven't talked about the Blue Jackets yet and how we just dominated the start of that game. And then had a little bit of adversity that we need to get through to finish that game off. And then on to Edmonton yesterday. You look at that, and then if you parlay, we don't know what's going to happen with Pittsburgh coming up and with Columbus. But in general, we've got an ease of schedule finally. We've got a lot of home games due us. This could be a very fortuitous kind of last 15, 16 to 18 games where my opinion might change completely, because what I'm seeing from the foundation of this team is the ability to play the right way and the ability to play any way and beat good teams again. So it's going to be very exciting down the stretch to see how we do with that.
Yeah, I mean, like I said, I'm getting very close. Like I know that we can hang with any team. I mean, we've seen it all year. They've done it, and they seem to just this consistency thing, right? It's all of a sudden they forget how to fucking play hockey, and everybody's missing it. And it's like it doesn't just go from, they didn't play that great. It goes from like, wow, they look terrible. Like they when they play bad, they play really, really bad. But if you look at these 3 games, and like you said, and I texted you guys, if they go on a run, remember that Timo goal against the Blue Jackets. This team a month ago would have folded with Columbus coming back, even though they were in the lead. They would have played on their heels. And Columbus would have come back. They kept pressing forward, and Timo gets the huge goal, and they never look back. Again, last night against Edmonton, you're down in the 3rd period against the Western Conference final. The Western Conference champs team. Guys came 1 goal away from raising the Stanley Cup. You kept Connor McDavid completely. Was a non-factor in that game. I mean, Draisaitl got his, but it was nowhere near their usual dominant effort.
Right.
And I think when it comes, yes, Carolina is a very good team. But if the Devils continue to play this way and they start stacking wins this way with defense and just smart play in all three zones, strong goaltending, every shift, these guys were sticks in the lanes and trying to block shots and winning board battles and doing all the quote unquote little things you need to do. And DJ 100% last night, Nico Hischier, to me, first star all around. I mean, what he did last night was just, I'll say he's the best defensive forward in the league. I mean, he really is right now. I would take him over pretty much anybody. I'll take him over Alex Barkov right now. But I would. I love Nico.
I wouldn't go that far.
He's
but,
my goddamn captain.
Yeah, I know. Nico's a fucking stud. I jerk off to his
But I'll
poster
say
tonight.
this. Everybody seems to be kind of with
what?
We can beat Carolina second round.
Judgment here, dude.
maybe the Eastern Conference final. If they continue playing like this, they can win the East. They can be playing for a Stanley Cup. And just it's a full team effort. And everybody's buying in, and I'm a big fan of it. Now it can come crashing down, and we can lose 5-2 against Pittsburgh tomorrow. But for some reason, I'll be honest with you, I don't see it happening. I see these guys figuring it out, saying, "Okay, wait a second. We know the system. We know what we have to do, and when we play that way, it's really hard to beat us." Oh, and by the way, when we have defensive breakdowns, we have fucking goaltending.
I think these last three games are more representative of the team that we have now, so to speak.
Mm-hmm.
You know, when we went through that run of 2 times against Dallas and Vegas and Winnipeg, you know, we were decimated by injuries and kind of having a slapstick lineup put together. Now we have all the new guys in. We're getting them in kind of rotations, and you know, they're this competition. You know, the Fitz's bullshit line about competition is working. Like Keefe has changed the lineup every single game. Coaches rarely change a winning lineup, but getting different guys opportunities. And I'm going to stop questioning his decision.
And he said he's going to do it, not based on performance, just to get people in and kind of keep the train moving. So,
we need these guys to step up, and they are. Nico has taken it to a whole new level. Like he had McDavid in his back pocket so much that they had to put McDavid and Draisaitl together.
Yeah.
It wasn't just kind of ugly. It was kind of ugly in the third after that, but you know, that's beside.
But Jacques Lemaire used to do that. I mean, he'd have guys in and out of the lineup just to keep them fresh. You know, Tommy Albeline's playing today, and Mike Dowd's playing, or Jim Dowd's playing. You know, this day and this and that, and it wasn't ever based on, because every time they were out there, no matter who was out there, the team was playing good, so it didn't matter. But it was just to get the guys touches. I like that. I'm super excited about that Glass, Sprong, Bratt line that's going to be supposedly going to be together tomorrow. I like that line, and yeah, we're all big glass holes here. I think that I shit all over that when it happened, when that move happened. What do you do, Cody Glass? He's our fucking savior. Great, I'm doing backflips. No, man, he might be. He's played great.
You know, he's having a new guy bump. I think long term, there's a home for him. He was a first round pick. I think he was 6th overall. You know, that is kind of Fitz's favorite toy to bring in, like Lazar, you know, the former first overall pick that didn't really materialize.
You feel like you're going to get value for it.
Yeah,
but
this kid's,
you know,
but he's 25. He hasn't really gotten much of a chance. You know, Mike Ruff mentioned that in his junior year. I don't know what he means about his junior year. I guess his junior year of college. You know, he really stepped up, and just looking at how smart of a player he is. Like if you watch, and there I go freezing again. If you watch like his zone entries, he like Bratt is all gas pedal on his zone entry. Same with Timo. Glass has a different kind of change of pace to it, where he sort of slithers through the zone. And I mentioned this in my recap. It's kind of Kucherov-ish, where he kind of pulls the puck in, finds space, and he created two goals against the Flyers doing that. I'm going to refresh really quickly. I'll be right back.
Yeah, go ahead. Yeah, Bobby, what were you about to say? Something?
I was going to say, I don't know how he was used in his previous teams, but I'm wondering how much of it is his role now. And I don't know if he felt like he had to be the man on a previous team because of, you know, where he was drafted and all that. And he comes here and he's like, I'm just going to try to fit in, be my third line guy and drive. Like, I don't know what it is about his particular play now, but it seems to me this is a guy that has a lot of talent that maybe was mismanaged, or at least
That's
in a
what Mike-
situation that wasn't too comfortable with him.
But Mike's saying that now. He was never given a chance.
Yeah.
Oh, okay, perfect.
And,
he could be.
and-
I mean, he could be our replacement for Mick Gangbang. You know.
Well, I mean, I so far I really like what I've seen, and Mike, I'm completely with you on this. I said it before, like I'm not fully on board. I'm not fully saying that this team is ready to go, but give me the next 2 games in a row, win 5 in a row, gobble up 10 points in a little over a week, separate from the bullshit teams behind you, and focus on we're going to get second in the Metro. And maybe people will start taking notice, and that's what I want to see. And I think they're capable of doing it. I did not think after a week ago today when we did our trade deadline show, and we were all ready to fucking seriously, where does Fitz live? Because I'm gonna go egg his house and that kind of shit. So
You can't. Eggs are too expensive now, man. You got to find.
That's
You gotta
true.
find something else.
I'll bring a horse there, start playing some Broadway tunes, and let him shit all over the place.
Like,
But,
yeah, and that really pissed me off. That like this week, 32 Thoughts, Empty Netter, Spittin' Chicklets, DFO Rundown, every kind of major podcast, Ray and Dregs, every single major podcast, national podcast I listen to, even the PDO cast, and those guys fucking love the Devils. Everybody's like, man, Devils are done without without Dougie and Jack. And I do appreciate that a lot of them indicated that Siegenthaler was actually I think that is probably one of the more underrated losses, if not probably one of the major losses that we have. Might be, I'm like the biggest Dougie stan on the planet. Losing Siegenthaler might be more of an issue than Dougie. But Dumoulin stepped in and been kind of a good little C's light kind of replacement.
And everybody has said, from what I've heard, is that Seegans will be back for round 1. So, okay, we're getting them back.
Oh, yeah.
I'd
keep Dumoulin in over Dylan at this point.
Sexy Dylan?
that.
Come on, man.
No. He brings that physical element that I really like. Brendan Dillon is just, I'm not taking him out of the lineup.
Yeah. So does McDermott. And he's dead.
Dillon has a lot more skill than McDermott. But I think Dumoulin's played great. Maybe, and look, I'm not going to sit here and say that, maybe Fitz did a great job on the trade deadline, because even in that interview, he didn't do good.
Yeah.
Like, you knew it. Like, he's so grateful that right now this team is playing well, because he's like, whew, that would have been my ass.
And the fact that we had to fucking find out about the injury updates about Dougie and Siegs from a fucking Kraken and Canucks podcast that he's on for some reason.
Mm-hmm.
Like, I have no idea why. I realize it's probably a national media member, I think, like Jim Windsor or whatever his name is. But then the Devils had to release a press release after that fact because he revealed it in the press conference. There's the same fucking thing that happened with Luke's injury when someone on Twitter spotted him in the background of like a Barstool video. It was like, why is Luke wearing a sling? And then the Devils were like, shit, they got us.
Right.
That's one thing I don't really like about management with our team. I don't understand why it's got to be so quiet all the time. I don't understand why you can't just simply come out, full disclosure, here's what's going on. I know you don't want to say exactly what an injury is or something like that, but just have a press conference once in a while. A little update. It's not a big deal. 5 minutes. It is ridiculous.
Lower body injuries, 6 to 8 weeks. Don't let us get
not all freaking mysterious. Just let us know what's going on.
Yeah.
I agree.
But I like the direction this team's going. I'm with you, Chris. Like, this could all come crashing down tomorrow.
But if the St. Louis Blues can win that Stanley Cup,
exactly,
anything can happen.
Cup runs on. And you know what we have? We have a secret weapon. We have a cookie.
We have a cookie. So real quick, are we now going to get to a point, because we can't keep having Mrs. Fields win the race every single time now, because then that's just going to
maybe when we get a goal.
Well, but they only do one race a game, right? So you can't. You can't. Right? You could do that. You could pick your spots, only the biggest games, things like that. Or do we just kind of run with the Mrs. Fields thing and not worry about the race anymore, but after first goal we all throw cookies on the ice? I'm thinking we should do that.
I think
everybody should wear cookie costumes.
I think take the race to a whole new level. I'm thinking, you run the race if the Devils are down in a big game. and Mrs. Fields clearly is going to lose, and she just starts checking motherfuckers out of the race.
Okay.
That
All
shit
right.
would get everybody pumped up.
I
Just
mean,
she starts winning, and like she suddenly
she,
pulls
like,
out like she has like a
spruting it out.
pipe, and she just like.
I think she should
plugs
like
this in
kick
there.
over the Shake Shack shake and then drink
Everything.
them and then
Oh.
just fucking like kick them
Ooh,
down the
guy's
fucking the
brutal.
track. And
But,
who
like-
else is racing?
That's
It's,
right. I drank you, motherfucker.
Yeah, right.
I mean, it's obviously so silly, but like the guys themselves said, like the crowd pops when Mrs. Fields wins, gets them so juiced. Like they scored 2 goals on 2 shots after she won the
on the
last game.
national broadcast, I forget who the woman is that was doing
AJ
it last night. They talked about the Mrs. Fields cookie for like 10 full minutes. And that's when I like texted you guys. I was like, I'm kind of over this cookie thing already. Like, you know,
Yeah,
no.
and Bobby and I were just like, shut the fuck up.
Yeah,
Embrace-
so I think
embrace
Saw the
cookie.
grimace power. Let's go with the cookie.
okay, I'm not a baseball guy. Someone needs to explain the Grimace thing. I keep hearing it all everywhere. What happened with the Mets and Grimace?
Ugh.
Grimace threw out the first pitch in like
Now, Grimace is
adult-
the purple Grimace
purple
from McDonald's. Right? Okay.
thing.
Okay.
I didn't even see that. I didn't care about that. I didn't even realize it was a thing till about probably 2 weeks later. But apparently, after he threw out the first pitch and mid suck of summer, the Mets just took off, and it just became kind of their thing. Grimace, and then there were people in the stands wearing Grimace costume. Like, credit to these people that can actually go out and buy this shit and wear it. Like, I'm never gonna be that guy. That one guy dressed like the cookie behind the
Yeah.
glass. Like,
He
good
got so
on you,
much
buddy.
fucking airtime.
It's never going to
Dude
be
was on
me. I'm certainly
Dude was
not
on
wearing a
NHL
Grimace
Network.
costume in New York City in August. You know what I mean? So these guys are diehard fans.
Okay,
But
so
yeah,
that's the
it's the same
Grimace
kind of
thing. All right.
concept.
That's a
A
great.
stupid
Yeah.
little good luck charm.
It is funny. I mean, look, go back to 1996, right? The Florida Panthers made it to the Cup final, all because, and the whole thing with the rats being thrown on the ice. There
Yep.
was a rat in the locker room. Scott Mellenby hit it with his fucking hockey stick and killed it. And then they ended up going on a run. And from that point on, the rat was their good luck charm.
Yeah.
You know?
Devil's legend Andrew Hammond when he went on his Hamburglar run.
Yeah.
You know, that's what made Curtis Lazar famous for picking up a burger off the ice and eating it.
That's right. I think they should throw cookies
You know,
on the
throwing
ice. I think it would be
octopi on the ice in Detroit.
now the problem is cookies would be a mess to clean up.
Yeah, probably.
You know, I mean, they break everywhere and all
Crumbles.
that other stuff.
You don't want to get that in your skates. Yeah.
96.
That team in '96, the
Bure?
Florida team. Let me try and
Pavel
think, TJ. Who was what?
Was it Pavel Bure on that team?
Not
was Van
sure.
Later.
Bury. It
That was
was
Van Beesbrook,
Van
right?
Beesbrook was
Van
in
Beesbrook.
goal. You had Scott Mellenby, Tom
Yep.
Fitzgerald. Wasn't Tom Fitzgerald on that
He
team?
might have been. Yeah.
Trying to think. I think Pavel Bury was on that team, Bobby.
Pretty sure. it was.
Who was the big defense? Ed Jovanowski was on that
Yes,
team.
Jovo.
Oh shit, that's a long time ago. And they lost to they got swept by the Avalanche the first year in Colorado. Poor Quebec. Poor fans in Quebec.
shit.
Yeah, Jovo, Scott Mellenby, Rob Niedermeyer, Brian Skrudlin was the captain.
Meyer was on that
Ray
team. That's
Shepard,
right.
Martin Straka,
Martin Straka.
John Van Beesbrook, Radek Dvorak. I don't even know
remember
who half
him.
of these Dvorak fuckers are. Stu Barnes. Gotta remember Stu
I
Barnes.
love Stu.
Yeah, it's Stewie.
Yeah.
Was Fitz on that team?
Jody Hall Fitz was on the team. Wait,
Okay.
wait, Mark Fitzpatrick.
Oh, not
That
Tom
was Mar-
Fitzgerald.
Uh,
He
uh,
was
Tom
in. He was in
Tom,
Nashville. Then.
Tom Fitzgerald. Tom Fitzgerald. He was.
He was on the team. Okay.
Yes.
Okay.
Yeah,
Rob
34,
Niedermeyer,
brother.
34 points for Tommy Fitz.
Nice, DJ.
You know, he got it too. I mean, he got his cup in Anaheim with Scotty. I mean, Scott had to come and bail his
The whole
ass
thing was
out.
backwards. Rob should have came
Yeah.
here.
He should have.
Bullshit.
Rob played pretty good here.
Marty
When
got
he was
robbed
here.
of the Conn Smythe.
Oh, Scott? You're saying Scott Niedermeyer got robbed of the Conn Smythe or Rob Niedermeyer?
Marty did.
Marty in 2003.
Gotta be a
you're talking.
goalie to win
Yeah.
that.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay. Yeah, that was a goddamn brutal. That was brutal.
So Pittsburgh, you know, they are in the process. I think they're going to try to go like everybody's now. You know, there used to be, you know, build your team up, go for it, come crashing down, and then rebuild. And now everybody's kind of looking at the Capitals, who had been written off and like, oh, you can retool on the fly. So now we're going to get,
Mhm.
you know, a dozen teams that are going to try to retool on the fly, and 11 of them are going to fail at it. and we're going to wind up with like a whole shitload of mediocre teams. Can't wait to watch Wonder Boy Kyle Dubas try to figure this out. Did you see? Like I said, I was going to do. I've softened on the Fire Fitz thing a little bit.
Yeah.
Good, thank you. I saw what Pittsburgh was asking for Rickard Raquel.
Yeah, that was.
Did you see
ridiculous.
that? That was
Yeah, it was like
ridiculous.
15 first-round picks and your
Yeah, it was like-
firstborn.
and your firstborn, and
Yep.
The
And a roster
Jesus
player,
Christ
like,
is buried.
All right, I
Little
do
Pat.
a quick little ad read for DraftKings, and I have another question for you, Bobby. You have your game tonight?
I do.
Awesome. All right, this NHL season has been as predictable as a puck rolling on its edge. No one knows where it's going, but that just means there's time for your favorite team to figure things out and games left for you to get in on the action at DraftKings, an official sports betting partner of the NHL. And if you're new to DraftKings, listen up. New customers can bet $5 and get $150 in bonus bets instantly. Download the DraftKings Sportsbook app now and use code THPN. That's code THPN. For new customers, get $150 in bonus bets instantly when you bet just $5. Only on DraftKings. Gambling problem? Call 1-800-GAMBLER. In New York, call 877-8-HOPE-NY or text HOPE-NY. In Connecticut, help is available for problem gambling. Call 888-789-7777 or visit ccpg.org. Please play responsibly on behalf of Boot Hill Casino and Resort. 21 plus, age and eligibility varies by jurisdiction. Void in Ontario. New customers only. Bonus bets expire 168 hours after issuance. For additional terms and responsible gaming resources, visit dkng.co/audio. NHL and the NHL Shield are registered trademarks of the National Hockey League. NHL and NHL team marks are the property of the NHL and its teams. NHL 2025, all rights reserved. DraftKings Sportsbook with code THPN. The crown is yours. All right.
Good job. Good reading
Thank you,
comprehension.
buddy.
New Jersey Public Schools, everyone.
That's right. All right.
Mhm.
But,
So-
nice. Mike just said you're a better ad read than Paul Bissonnette. So good job.
I can read, though. I don't think Paul can. He's a better hockey player than me. All right.
Yeah, I don't know.
Well, yeah, he is.
Probably better fighter.
Yeah, but I wouldn't accept.
Here's my next question. All right.
All right.
The Ottawa Senators right now are playing some fantastic hockey. They're firmly set in wild card one with 75 points. I'm willing to say they absolutely take wild card one. Is anybody want to fight me on that?
Nope.
No.
Okay. So Ottawa's in the playoffs.
Yeah, I think
Now
so.
that leaves one spot.
Columbus.
And there are legitimately 5 teams that have a dog in this fight. So the question is, I'll tell you who they are, tell you how many games they've played, and where their points are. You tell me who's going to be that last team.
Okay.
Montreal Canadiens have played 65 games, and they have 69 points. Now, Detroit, they just played, so I'll actually say they've played 66 games, and they have 68 points. You said they lost, right? They lost the Canes?
Yeah,
Okay.
they lost to the Canes.
Boston also has 68 points in 67 games. The Blue Jackets have 70 points and have played 65 games. I'm sorry. Is that right? Yeah, 65. Wow. They only played 65 games.
Yeah.
And the Rangers have played 66 games and they have 70 points. So 70 points for Columbus and the Rangers, with Columbus having 2 games in hand on Boston, a game in hand on everybody else, except Montreal. Montreal still got 65 played. Who is going to take that second wild card, Bob? Montreal, Boston, Rangers, Detroit, or Columbus, and why are they going to take it?
It's the Columbus Blue Jackets because fuck the Rangers. I'm not letting them in anyway. I think they're playing the best hockey of the 3, and they have a couple games in hand. I don't care
Yeah.
about Montreal because they're not going to worry about them anyway. So yeah, Columbus.
When I was doing my notes, I write the number of games next, and then I write GP. For everyone, I wrote 67, 65. For the Rangers, subconsciously, I wrote 6 instead of 66. I put 666 GP. Like I automatically in my head made them the devil. But we're the devils. But I mean evil and hated. That was weird.
They're the
I
bad
just noticed
guys.
that.
They're the bad
All right, so
guys.
Columbus. Okay, so the next question: out of those teams, who do you want to make it?
Columbus.
Okay, All right.
I like the feel good story. I didn't think they'd be anywhere near this year. I got nothing for Montreal, Detroit, Boston. I'm tired of them being in there, and fuck the Rangers.
Okay.
Yeah.
All good reasons. Timothy.
Um, I mean, I don't think I could have said that any better than Bob just did.
So you're with
Columbus.
Columbus,
I,
Joe?
I mean, yeah, I think it's going to be Columbus. Like, I think that they hold on. The one, I heard this the other day, and I'm not sure how true it is, but I believe the Rangers actually hold all the tiebreakers with Columbus. But
They
whatever.
play tomorrow.
Fuck the Rangers. They're going to fall apart. Hate the Rangers. No, thank you. Underneath that, like, I don't know what Boston's doing. They sold everything off and just decided to start winning again. Like, that's like, what are they doing? Stop that. You're not supposed to be doing that. And honestly, like, I wouldn't mind seeing Detroit make it. I like some of their players. I like Larkin. I like DeBrincat. And I just having Detroit back in the playoffs again, I think is good for the league. Same with Montreal, though. I think, they're kind of a fun, young, exciting team. Like, I'm a big Cole Caulfield guy. I love Caulfield. 5'4" Bobby Orr. He'll be fun to watch in the playoffs. Suzuki, I think, is having a sneaky, unbelievable season. So I think Detroit and Montreal kind of lumped together, and guys would be like, oh, cool, they made the playoffs. But I think the league would go fucking nuts for that. But it's got to be Columbus, man. That's just such a fucking hands down, like, would be the best story, I think, in sports this year. It's like Disney movie type of shit. Just
Detroit was my
playoffs
pick preseason to make it in, but things changed throughout a whole year.
Yeah,
So
just if we have to play them, I will hate being the bad guy, but fine, I'll be the bad
I'm okay
guy.
with that. I can separate that kind of emotion.
Yeah, like make it. We play them in the second round. Like, that's cool. That's enough. That's the end of the Disney movie where they kind of have their sad ending where they hit the post and then the game movie ends, but they get a good handshake line. And
I might have told. I'm sorry.
No, go ahead.
I might have told Chris and this. I think we might have discussed it on the air like a couple years ago or whatever. But one time I was at one of my cousin's house, and her boyfriend at the time was a Ranger fan. She had a good friend that was also a Ranger fan. We're just having some beers, chill in the backyard, and it was getting near the playoffs. I forget what year it was, but this guy like comes up to me with this sob story about like his buddy that had passed in the year, which of course upsetting, like, right, but that he was a Ranger fan, and for that, like, the Rangers have to win the cup. And he's like, you got to feel that way, right? I'm like, no, I can't. Like, I mean,
lots of Devil fans died this year.
Yeah, this shit happens. I still want my team to win.
Yeah.
Like, no offense, I'm gonna go talk to somebody else now.
Yeah, and we've
kind
lost
of a weird
couple
request,
of
by the way.
We've lost a couple of Newark cops too. Like,
Yeah.
So
Hey.
Mike brings up Remtard. So I wanted to read a Larry Brooks tweet, which this guy is just. I don't know, man. He's up there with Valaket and just the fucking absolute crocodile tears. His fucking pussy is crying.
No, is this about the interference fucking call?
A scandal of the NHL's own making. The league, Stephen Walcom, and the entire officiating department have acted out of bias against Rempe for more than a year.
Oh,
Two
my Lord.
outrageous calls in consecutive games each cost the Rangers a goal. Mickey Mouse League.
Okay.
My God, man. Like, these guys are so mentally soft that they're saying it's a scandal. Do you know what a scandal is? It's when your fucking video guy is trying to rape your players in Chicago. That's a scandal. A scandal isn't 2 missed calls, Larry Brooks.
No.
Shut the fuck up, you pussy.
No. And one of them really wasn't a missed call. That goal center interference. I mean, look, goal center interference has been going that way all year long. Shit happens. I don't necessarily agree with it, but I'm not going to say a bad call. The interference call, I mean, he bumped you a little bit and you acted like you got shot in the face. I mean, all right, whatever. But they are a bunch.
That was a terrible call last night.
No, they're a bunch of fucking snowflakes, though. They really are a bunch of snowflakes. So that is why the Rangers are not going to make the playoffs. And Columbus is now. There's a couple of teams not a couple. To me, I want to see either Columbus in that spot or Montreal in that spot. I don't give a shit about Detroit and Boston. Not that I have any ill feelings towards Boston, but I'm exactly like Bobby. Like, enough, okay? Yeah. Enough. How many times can you get in and do fucking nothing? How about you just stay home this time and let Ottawa go in there, because they're not going to do nothing. Ottawa's dangerous. So I think Columbus is going to take it, but I would also be totally cool if it's the Canadians because the same reason. That top line, I love watching them. I really like Marty St. Louis, always have. And we've been there, man. We've talked about Montreal so many times. Like, it's just a great city filled with great people. And I mean,
Great
maybe
hookers.
Mike doesn't think so because I don't know if Vancouver likes Montreal or not. But for this little American guy in New Jersey,
Mike doesn't even like Vancouver.
Who went up there after 9/11, and just everybody was just awesome to us. I mean, we really had a great time. So yeah, their fans were nuts. They were a ton of fun though. So all right. So we all think Columbus is going to do it. I have one more question, but let's do Bobby's game first.
Well, I
wanted
wanted
wrap
to
it up.
I want to bring up one quick thing that I totally fucking just remembered based on like the Rempik call. But did you see last night? I think it was Tatar gave Draisaitl a little shove in the corner, and he got shot in the
was
back.
it Draisaitl or McDavid?
Oh,
it was Draisaitl.
Oh yeah.
Oh my
and he's
god!
like, oh, and
Holy
like dove
shit.
in the corner. Yeah,
And even the ref looked like there's nothing there.
I was like, that was yeah. Even
That
the
was
ref
great.
was like,
I mean, that should have been a penalty for embellishment. Like,
anyway, that
straight
was,
up.
I just want to bring that.
If it wasn't Draisaitl, it would have
absolutely.
been.
But he,
That's why the ref
Yeah.
was just like, all right, get the fuck
he's
up.
just kind of a dirty scumbag. Yeah.
I don't like Edmonton.
So anyway, I thought that was funny.
I don't like Draisaitl. I don't like McDavid. I love watching McDavid, but I hope he never wins a cup. But that's a whole different podcast we can start on. So, Bobby, what are you naming your game?
You came up with a good name.
Do you want to go with that one?
What was it? Yeah, I think that's good.
It was Year of the Devil.
Year of the Devil. Okay. So,
All right.
Year of the Devil is slightly different than our Devil You Know game. In this game, I'm going to read off 10 clues. I'm going to read them all. It does not matter how quickly you have the answer. People in the chat, you write the answer as soon as you are comfortable doing it. You have to know that if you put in your answer for a particular year, you might tip off somebody else as to what part of the year we are in. It's going to be 8 general questions, 2 that make it fairly easy. First one to get it right in the chat wins. We're going to put your name off to the side. We'll raffle off the end of the year. So I'm going to have some.
DJ won last time, right?
DJ did win. DJ's our only winner. Puckers, if you win, it's still going to default to anybody else out there.
You get.
Okay, so it's guess.
And one answer. You only get one guess.
You only get
one guess. One guess, so you're out.
One guess. Decide on when you want to put in. It's the season, as in the season's end. The Devils won the cup in 1995. The clues can be from 94 to 95, but we're going to call the season 1995. And since I'm always going to use as an example, I'm never going to use 1995 as this game. Okay, we ready? All right.
Yes.
In this season, the New Jersey Devils had 79 points. And no Googling, no cheating.
Am I right? No?
No, you're not right. You're out of the game.
That was your
What
guess.
was the first clue? I'm sorry.
They had 79 points. It was a 79-point season.
Pay attention.
They had a back-to-back situation where they had a 5-5 overtime against both Philly and the Islanders. They scored.
Okay, sorry.
They scored 5 or more goals 18 times this season, and the most they scored was 9 against Vancouver.
Jesus.
We had a defenseman with 249 penalty minutes. The 79 points were 6 ahead of the old Whale. Hartford Whalers for any of the young people who don't know what I'm talking about.
I have my answer queued up, my guess queued up, but I'm waiting still.
Clue number 6. This was the first time the team qualified for the playoffs in back-to-back years.
God damn it. I should have waited till you answered the question. Son of a bitch. Till you read it.
They lost to the Penguins in Game 7 of the first round 4-0.
I think we both guessed wrong.
See, that's the joy of this game. You don't know when to put your answer in.
Fuck. Well, I should have at least waited till you finished the question.
Now this year's actually got a lot. So 8 is actually.
We both answered about the first time they qualified for the playoffs. We both. I thought
but I'm right. You're wrong.
The leading scorer.
DJ gave a guess.
I think DJ might be right.
Okay, you're wrong, DJ.
I'm not saying that. I'm going to read all the
Oh,
clues.
okay. Oh, okay. Okay.
That's
I'm
the
sorry.
point of this game. We don't have to stop. We get to hear
Oh,
all
all
the clues.
right. All right.
Yeah, we gotta let
Yeah.
Mike Google the answer.
I gotta
The leading
fucking
scorer
start
had
paying attention to shit.
45 goals that year. And now the layup. It was the last season without Scott Stevens. And it was the season in the beginning half of the calendar year that we drafted Martin Brodeur.
It's 1991. Fuck.
It is the 90-91 season.
Oh, no winners. So
Nobody
DJ wins
got
again.
it.
No,
DJ. Oh, I
DJ
thought-
wins again.
Hey, Mike even guessed it wrong when he gave the answer.
Yep.
There is no winner.
Mike was close because he knows when we drafted Brodeur in 1990, but it's the 91 season.
Are we
that
going to
we're
give
talking-
that to Mike so him and
No.
DJ can
Yeah,
fight to the
well,
death? If
I
they
think
tie at the end?
Mike gets it because of Price is Right rules.
Well, actually, Mike does get it for the closest.
Yeah,
and,
without
uh,
going over.
Closest not
Yep.
going over. Price is Right
All right.
rules.
All right. Mike, good
All right.
job, buddy. If we had an applause button, we'd press it.
We're going to
But
work
we
on
don't.
that. And today is the 14th.
Mike, you get a box of Omaha steaks.
We'll figure out a raffle.
Nice
at the end of the year.
parting gift for you, DJ. So
you get a sticker.
you get a sticker. So I one question, and we'll wrap this thing up for the evening. And just I'm pretty sure I know the answer to this, but just we can still okay, trade deadline's over, but you can still sign a dude off the street, right? As long as you make a roster spot.
Right now?
Yeah.
Yeah, they just can't play in the playoffs.
So if you sign somebody today who has not played
Right.
all year long, they cannot play for you in the playoffs?
Correct.
Oh.
Yeah, they just signed.
What would be the sense of getting somebody then?
Well, wait, no, sorry. I think you can sign somebody. You can't trade for somebody. Like
Well, Mike just said you can still make trades.
you can still make trades. They just can't play in the playoffs. Like the Devils made a trade yesterday for some fucking ECHL defenseman or something.
Right.
Theoretically,
Okay,
he
so-
wouldn't be able to play in the playoffs.
But
But you
if
can
somebody-
sign someone like Gritsuk.
so if you sign, but I'm not just Gritzik, but anybody who has not played in the NHL is eligible to play in the playoffs.
Yes. So like Luke, remember Luke?
Yep.
Yeah, ended
Yep.
his Michigan
Okay,
season,
so
signed his
yeah.
ELC, came over, played one
Gotcha.
game, right, and then started in
Gotcha.
the playoffs.
Is Chris going after
Right.
Kovalchuk again?
I'm
You
not
miss
going
him?
after Kovalchuk. I don't ever want to see that man again. I'm just going to bring up one guy. I've mentioned him before,
Is he a
and
fun
there's
guy?
talk. There's talk that he wants to get back in the league. And could Jonathan Taves be a fourth line center for this team moving forward?
I brought up the Blackhawk scandal before. No, he was the captain of that team at the time. He knew exactly what was going on. He didn't get in trouble for it or anything like that. Name wasn't really involved, but he knew exactly what the fuck those guys were doing in that locker room.
Is that like you really? Is that fact?
I do not know that for a fact, but I firmly believe it because
Okay.
knowing how tight these guys in their locker rooms, he absolutely had to know what was going on. I just can't
Okay.
believe they got away.
I will
with it.
take your word for it then that he knew.
He's also
So
has
DJ
it's like he's like almost 40 years old and like
No,
hasn't
and
played in
look,
2 years.
I'm saying fourth line center. We right now I'm actually okay with it. I would not do it. Last week, maybe 2 weeks ago, definitely. Right now, no, because I think with the Cody Glass edition and with how well Mercer has been playing in the middle, I think our down the middle is better than okay right now. So
yeah,
I'm okay with that.
I have no idea what he looks like, where he's skating, if he's even in shape. Like, but
Well, he
I
says he's
think the other
ready
stuff,
and he wants to come back.
I think the other stuff supersedes that a little bit. Like we can't do that again as an organization either. We've already had that one cloud from McLeod.
Yeah, no, I mean, if he knew about it, then no.
And
Yes, thank you.
now Bastion was on that Mississauga team that is now under investigation as
This
well.
is true.
So
We
like
don't
we just
need
can't,
any more.
and look, we're the NFL is the clear leaders in the clubhouse in terms of having fucking scumbag players. Like I just don't want to. I have a hard time rooting for a team that has real scandal-ridden scumbag players on it. Like we have enough of that shit in the world. Like not on my team.
Bob.
Yeah, no interest at this point. I don't even know what the fuck he's doing. So no, I'd rather run with the team we have now.
Do the Rangers sign him?
Yeah,
I mean,
Columbus-
he's a shiny new object.
First line
and,
center.
You know, Yeah, I mean the Corey Crawford thing. Okay, I mean I was
Slop.
so excited when we signed him. I was so fucking excited that we finally got Corey Crawford.
But is he
And
is
then
he
the
calling it? Is
fucking
that a way to say
and
slowpoke or is that slop
Slop I think instead of Black Hawk, he's calling him Slop Hawk. Um,
All right,
but
man.
Great
like,
injury.
and then I think the meds wore off a little bit, and he was like, "Wait, I'm where? I'm in fucking New Jersey. What the hell did you do to me? No, I'd rather just go home and watch Wheel of Fortune. Sorry, guys, I'm retired.
Like that shit.
Yeah, that
Yeah.
was. But all right, anything else you guys want to chat about tonight?
No, go Devils. I don't think I'm going to be able to watch the game live. My nephew has a lacrosse game tomorrow. They lost
We will take you.
26-4 today
So
to
you're,
the third ranked team in the nation,
So it's
which
pretty
is
close.
not good.
so you're saying there's a
Not
chance.
I have a
Great, Bob.
technical question.
Yeah.
How are the guys in the chat right with us, but the video's 2 minutes behind? If they're live, aren't they watching our video that's also 2 minutes behind?
Well, because
How is this working?
No,
we're being broadcast on YouTube. We're on StreamYard doing the show. Everyone's seeing I guess a feed of the show on YouTube. So I guess there's a 2-minute delay. That's
I
why
don't think
Mike
it's that.
answered 1990. I guess.
I
Okay,
I
so he
don't.
didn't know we gave the answer already.
Yeah, I don't know.
I'm just
how
saying most of their chats
that-
are within a couple seconds, more or less, of what we're saying. But I look back at the video every now and then, and I see something like you're doing the ad read. I'm like, this shit was like 20 minutes ago. So I'm just
You can,
curious how that all works.
maybe your
No, that's an
internet or something.
exaggeration.
So
but
if
it
you
is way
click on
further
the
back.
click on the YouTube screen and you see the little red bar at the bottom, just drag it to the right. It'll get live. For whatever reason, my YouTube video is
The longer you're on, the more it delays. Kind of
yeah,
falls
it
behind.
kind of
Okay,
lags a little bit.
gotcha. That's all. I didn't understand that.
Sorry,
They're
a little,
always slow up
a
speed.
little behind the scenes of Pucker Nation here, boys
Yeah.
and girls.
There's me looking all like this.
All right.
Love that shit.
All right, we're gonna wrap this thing up before we leave. Final score, first goal scorer. Go ahead, Tim.
Timo Meyer's going to score first. He's going to see. I think he's falling into an every other goal pattern. I'm going to bet my kid's college tuition on that. And then I think we win pretty handily, 5-1.
Okay, Bobby.
I'm
You
gonna go with
guys
the hot
too,
hand
Mike and
in
DJ.
Brat. I'm gonna go with Brat first, and I think this. I love the matchup against Pittsburgh. Another 3-0 shutout.
All right, I was gonna go 4-0 shutout, but I'll change it because you got the shutout. So I'm gonna say 4-1. And who'd you say for first goal?
Brat.
Brett. I'm going captain. So Nico
Nico.
gets the first goal. So and how awesome! Like when he put together Brat, Timo, and Nico last night, I was
They're
wow,
awesome.
this is a fucking line, man. You got to start doing. I love that we have that in our back pocket. I love the Sprong pick, DJ.
Sprong,
I
good
hope he
Yeah,
does
I would.
score.
I want to see Sprong get on the board.
Sprung for sprung.
Chris, you mentioned before, but that Glass Sprong Brat line, I think that's
Going to be
decent too.
fun. Yeah, I think that. I mean, look, Tristan Jari's been playing good. That's not going to last. No, tomorrow, just keep doing what you're doing, boys. And wherever you're listening to us, hey, like a 5-star review, positive comment helps Little Podcast That Good. Anyone watching on YouTube, please subscribe, like, thumbs up, whatever other buttons there are to press on that thing. Press them. For Tim and Bob, I'm Chris. We're the Uncle Puckers. We'll see you when we see you.
Bye-bye.
Lick my ass, Valakat.
It's so
I thought
dirty.
that was directed to Chris.
No.
I'll do it.
It's over, Johnny. It's over!
And Valaket can have my fucking dirty